Welcome to my dojo. This is Kung Fu Pizza Party, and I'm your host, Brandon Knight. And today, making his debut here in the dojo, he hails from the Grub and Grace podcast, Mr. Mark Flower. Mark, welcome to the dojo.
It's a pleasure to have me. Thank you.
The first person to have bowed while entering. He understands the assignment around here. Listeners, Mark and I have been trying to make this episode happen this is like our third attempt trying to do this. We're both excited. He's pumped for it. But before we get into our topic here today, Mark, why don't you go ahead and tell the listeners a little bit about Grub and Grace.
So Grub and Grace, the whole idea is that the best conversation comes around the table. It's a lot of food based, except I haven't really gone too deep into food yet. I've just been kind of tackling a bunch of different topics. It started out as more of digging into the Bible and finding food references, eating, harvesting, all that kind of stuff. But then it kind of moved into, I want to talk about other subjects. I want to open this up to other things that are maybe Bible adjacent or stuff like that. So I talked about like servant leadership. I talked about like church trauma and harm from a gay religious advocate for religious harm. I talk about Christian nationalism. So I kind of open this up to a lot of different broad topics, as well as still going into the Bible as well and having like a Christian perspective. So, and then I recently had an episode where we talked about Taoism and Christianity and how that kind of can possibly blend together. And we talked about some recipes that can go along with that. So we have been bringing food a little bit into it. There has been mentions of food, eating little snacks and cheese and crackers and drinking beer and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a whole process, and I'm still trying to figure out my vibe with the whole thing. So it's still a work in progress, but yeah, that's what I've got going on.
Nice. And Kung Fu Pizza Party listeners, you'll definitely want to check out Mark's show sometime. Actually, there'll be a link for it in the description of this episode, particularly because you're going to recognize a few of the guests. That Christian Taoism episode has Joshua Knoll on it. A while back, you had Will Rose. You talked about the new Captain America movie, right?
We did, yeah. You did your research, yeah. I did
a little bit, yeah.
With Will. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed, when I was checking out your show, I really enjoyed the episode you did. I think the YouTuber's name is Nerdy Dan. It was about AI, art, and media, which is a very relevant, very still like hot topic, ongoing discussion, the use of AI. I'll have to try and get connected with him sometime, because I feel like in the martial art like media world, we haven't really tapped into that one way or another yet. I did a little research. There's not too much out there, but if the guy can make me AI me as Iron Fist, I would be pretty happy.
I heard they're actually bringing him back in the Marvel universe. I heard the actor had been pleading and saying, give me a second chance. So
yeah,
if that happens,
we'll definitely see. I don't know if he should get one. I love how Mark, our shows are two very different things, and yet we meet at a very interesting intersection. Mm-hmm. Thoughtful reflection, sometimes with pop culture, and food. We meet at a very niche intersection, and very niche. And that's what we're going to be doing today here, listeners. Mark and I, we're going to pretend it's a Friday night, hanging out, watching some movies, and we're going to be pairing up different kinds of pizza with different martial art movies, actors, genres, franchises, the whole bit. We're going to go for a while, and I've got a couple things written down here, and Mark's got a few ideas as well. And I want to start, Mark, with a movie you had brought up when we first started texting. The movie that I was like, homeboy has already booked himself onto another episode. Black Dynamite, starring Michael J. White. So if we are going to sit down and watch Black Dynamite, what are we ordering? What are we going to get? And you can be, I never mentioned this, but just so we're all clear on the rules, you can be as broad or specific as you would like with your pizza choices?
So I typically, going into this, I thought, okay, it'd be best to do my research and find out if they even mention any food in any of these movies.
Ooh.
And so that I can pair my toppings with the movie and have a full engaging experience, so that my toppings will actually correlate with things they mention in the movie and that. So this one, Black Dynamite, I feel like there could actually be a couple different toppings for this. So
Okay.
There's one point in the movie, they're all sitting down in a diner and they're talking about these conspiracy theories of white supremacy and how it's controlling everything. And one of the characters, he interrupts everything, and he wants to order something from the diner. So he's like 2 sausage links, 2 sausage patties, 2 hot dogs split down the middle twice, bologna fried up into a dome, slice that, take the spatula and smush fry it, and then he gets cut off right at that point. So I'm like, okay, this, like all of this, like this would be a great topping. I don't know who would eat this pizza, but that's a lot of meat on that pizza. So that's like a meat lover's pizza. So you could, like,
For sure.
you don't have to use all that, but I think a meat lover's pizza would be great. I think if you were to make that like a breakfast pizza, and instead of a traditional pie, like the dough, make like a waffle dough. So use like a waffle iron.
Okay.
And either use like pizza dough and put in the waffle iron, or make an actual waffle and put everything on there. And you could put like tomato sauce or something like that on there too. The second one I would do would be hogmas. So basically that's the outer stomach of a pig, and there's like almost no fat on it. So it's just like the stomach lining, the outside. And they mention in the movie, I'm like, I've never had hogmas, but but might as well try it.
Okay. Love that. How was it? Or have you not tried it yet?
I haven't tried it, no.
Okay.
I'm interested though, because it hasn't been too long since I just figured out, because I did my research. I watched and I figured out, okay, they mention in the movie, but I haven't actually gotten the chance to try it yet.
Would you eat a pizza with bologna on it? Because honestly, that's the part that I'm like, I'm out. I might be peeling that part. I'll even try it with the hot dog split down the middle twice, but it's the bologna for me that I'm like, I don't know. I've had fried bologna. It's kind of not my thing.
Yeah, I would see it as like a version of ham.
True.
Like if I didn't think too much about it, if I squinted at it and was like, I'll just assume that's ham, then maybe I could put it down my gullet.
Right. For me, man, you did some research. Now I feel stupid. No. For me, I guess I'm going more off of like the vibe of the film. Like when I'm watching one of these movies on my list, I'm going more off of vibes. There is one on my list and I'm like, actually that is referenced in the movie, so we have to get that. So for some reason, when I think I'm going to sit down and I am going to watch Black Dynamite, I want a buffalo chicken pizza. Ooh. Now, admittedly, could be a bit racist for me to say that. It does feel a little off, me saying that. But the reason why I would want a buffalo chicken pizza, not usually my go-to, but it's that kick. It's that spice aspect. And, that's definitely kind of the vibe of this movie. It's a comedy. And for sure, Mark and I will come back and run it back properly on this film at some point. But it's that 70s, like, high action, just kick ass the whole time. Mama, I told you to never call me here when I'm practicing my kung fu. Like, I quote that line all the time. So for some reason, I'm like, yeah, I want like something with a bit of a kick to it. I want something with a little bit of like, ooh, there's a little bit of heat behind it, because that's what Black Dynamite is. He's got a little bit of heat whenever he walks into a room. So yeah, I'm thinking like a buffalo chicken pizza. Buffalo Wild Wings used to have one that was really good. They don't make it anymore because it's probably more complicated than what they're used to making at B-dubs. But yeah, that would be my pick. Some kind of like, or even just like something with like sriracha on it, that kind of like spice to it.
I think I've got an amendment on this, because you brought up a good point. We are 2 white guys, and there's certain things that definitely can come off as racist, even if we don't intend to be. Mind if I make an amendment to your spicy suggestion?
Of course.
How about the Hot Friday? So Hot Friday is in
Okay.
Korean. It's bulgogi, kimchi, and gochujang.
Ooh,
So it's
okay.
spicy. It's got a little bit of meat and kick to it. So that way, if you wanted to have that spice but not come off as, like you said, potentially racist, I would say maybe go with that one.
That one. Or there's a one of the breweries by my house. You brought up the waffle idea with the breakfast, kind of like a breakfast pizza. They have a chicken and waffles pizza. So it's got like the crust, the pizza crust is a little bit more like a waffle, kind of like flaky sweet, and it has like this sweet and spicy syrup
Mm-hmm.
on the top. It's a sticky
Ooh,
pizza, so it's a little bit of a weird texture if you, and it's hard to find a beer that pairs well with it. But again, if we're
syrup, that would be good.
yeah, it is. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites in the area. If
Yeah,
you're
I gotta
ever
look it
in
up.
the Northwest Indiana area, I'll take you sometime. The beer's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
The beer's all right there. Unless you like IPAs, they have them out the wazoo there.
Not a big fan, actually.
Oh, good. Me too,
I'm one of the rare ones that don't like IPAs. So
dude. I feel you on that one. We'll have to do a beer. There are some ninja themed beers out there. We might have to
yeah,
do
there are.
that
Yeah.
sometime.
I would
Uh,
love that.
so why don't you go ahead? Why don't you throw us one of yours? What was one of your picks for this?
I don't know. I've got a bunch. I got a whole list.
Okay.
Do you want to go comedy? Do you want to go more serious? Why don't you choose that first, and then maybe I can pick one.
Let's do another comedy.
Okay. Let's go with. Oh boy, which one do I want to? Let's do. Have you ever heard of the one Kung Fury?
Oh yeah, yeah, babe.
So
That's
Kung,
my bicep.
so Kung Fury is kind of like the John Wick of kung fu films. So I wanted to get something kind of quirky and just like bam, bam, bam. So I thought pizza topping that would go well with this would be like a Taco Bell Tex-Mex with hot Cheetos sort of topping on it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was kind of my vibe. Then this one was more of just kind of a vibe, like you were talking about with Black
Yeah. Yeah.
Dynamite.
Huh. Kung Fury. What would I want? See, it's also got like this big 80s aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some kind of like, what do we get? Like maybe just like something simple like Domino's, kind of like that, just like an era favorite kind of pizza. I wasn't born in the 80s, so I don't know. But I'm kind of talking out my ass right now. But I'm trying to think. I do like the I'm trying to think what would be a good, what's a very like, oh, they have the whole bit of fighting like Hitler at the end of that movie.
They
What's like
do.
what's a very American pizza?
Very American. I mean, pepperoni and cheese. I can't think of
Pepperoni and
anything
cheese.
more American
Stuff
than that.
stuffed crust pizza. Stuffed crust pizza would
Stuffed
be
crust
very
pizza.
American, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I like the Tex-Mex idea, something like super like American. This is very like
Appropriating other cultures. So yeah, Tex-Mex would be perfect.
perfect. It's something that really says F you to the Nazis, I guess. So stuffed crust pizza. That seems something that would upset Nazis. Oh man. All right. How about this one?
Yeah.
A little bit more current. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Ooh, I hadn't even thought about this one actually. So you're going Marvel on me.
Going Marvel on you. I thought it
Let me
was a
look at
safe bet since you just did Captain America.
let me think about this for a minute. Why don't you tell me what you would go with?
So I was really disappointed by that movie because everyone told me I would like it. Never tell me I'm gonna like a movie. It doesn't. People don't understand my taste in movies, is what I've come to realize. Whether it was Shang-Chi or for years, people told me I would love the movie Donnie Darko. That movie was so dumb. Movie was dumb. Other than very young, punchable Jake Gyllenhaal, that movie was just dumb. But with Shang-Chi, so I need something that's kind of like a letdown almost.
Okay.
Like, so maybe like Little Caesars, just something like it's cheap, it gets the job done, and it is pizza. Like Shang-Chi, it is a movie. I really need to get, there's a guy I've kind of interact with on social media. He has a podcast, Deadly Podcast of Kung Fu, and it's all Marvel martial arts stuff. And I really would like to have him on and see if he agrees or can set me straight. But how about you? What do you got?
Okay, I think I got something, and
Okay.
this isn't something that everybody would find appalling, but I think you would probably be right on with this one. How
Okay.
about a tofu pizza?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's something
Or
I personally probably would still eat if it was prepared
sure.
correctly. But I know there's a lot of people that are like anti tofu. So I think if you're
Yes.
looking for something that like, because the movie's split, I know that people that actually did like the movie. And there's a lot
Nice.
of people that like you that didn't like the movie. So, and I feel like tofu is kind of the same way. There's a lot of people that like it, and
Sure.
there's a lot of people that don't like tofu. So I feel like some sort of tofu pizza might be a good middle ground for that.
Uh, Jumping off of that idea, I like the tofu. Jumping off of that idea, my wife is gluten free, and so I have had my fair share of gluten free or cauliflower crust pizzas, and sometimes they're pretty good. There's a cafe out where I went to college, delicious gluten free pizza crust, and then you get like Pizza Hut or a lot of like the frozen pizza crust kinds of things if we're going to make one at home. And like, again, it gets the job done, and but you can definitely like taste, especially when it's cauliflower based, you can definitely taste like, oh, there's something off about this crust.
Oh, I love it.
Throw me one of yours. We are recording on World MMA Day. So do you have any MMA movies stashed away in there?
Unfortunately, I don't. The closest I have would be like The Raid or like
Okay.
Ong Bak Thai Warrior or any of
Ooh.
what's his name? Tony Jaa's movies.
Ooh.
So if you want to talk about either of those, otherwise, if you want
Ah.
to bring one up, like an MMA fighter, like Ronda Rousey or something like that.
I will always talk about Tony Jaa. So throw me Ung Bak.
Okay. I mean, I couldn't think of anything other than like spicy Thai chicken.
Oh,
I
okay.
love the pizza, and honestly, when I watched it for the first time, I think I had a craving for it during the movie, and I ended up going to a restaurant after the movie and getting like a Thai chicken something or other, some sort
Okay.
of dish that was like a like I don't know if it was uh I don't know. I can't think. I mean, I'm blanking on a Thai dish right now, but
Okay.
like patsy or something like that. But yeah, something like that probably.
So
Something spicy though. It'd have to have some Thai peppers in it.
sure. What would I want if I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch Ung Bak? So he's doing Muay Thai.
Mm-hmm.
What would be like a very Muay Thai? So in Thailand, if you train in Muay Thai, you're a Buddhist monk. That's how close those things are related. And so I don't know if my knowledge of Buddhism is very thin. I'm a little bit more uh, familiar with Taoism. But if there was some kind of like Buddhist dish or like some kind of dietary, like kind of like within Judaism, like some kind of dietary kind of restraint, you could go that route on a pizza.
And you can always do some sort of like broad bean, like edamame or something
Okay.
like that. You could
True.
do a variety of vegetables. Probably would be really safe, a safe bet to do.
Okay. So like a veggie lovers
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We started off with Black Dynamite throwing any form of meat on a pizza, and now we're like, how about some edamame beans on a pizza? This is great.
This show is going a great direction. I love it. Let's just keep
let's
going.
just keep it going. Let's keep it going. All right, not a specific movie. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna watch a bunch of Chuck Norris films.
Ooh, I think I have something for you on this one.
Okay, what you got?
Do you want me to start off with this, or do you want to go ahead and jump in?
Go ahead. Go ahead. If you got an answer, go ahead.
All right. So I was thinking originally because He's very like stoic, commanding, rugged, straightforward, and iconic in everything he does. So I was thinking like
Sure.
just like a straight American thing, just like smoked barbecue beef brisket, just
Okay.
something like that. Just like strong arm, like man, we're doing some
Yeah,
barbecue
yeah,
today.
yeah.
But then I was thinking, okay, what about all these like Chuck Norris jokes? Why don't we just do like swordfish? Like it would leap out of the ocean willingly, sacrifice itself for Chuck Norris because knowing that it wouldn't stand a chance against Chuck Norris. So why don't we just throw some swordfish on there?
Love that. Sharks watch Chuck Norris week. I don't know if I've ever come across a Chuck Norris fact that relates to pizza. I don't know what that would even look like, but I like the swordfish and the like Texas barbecue brisket idea. That is perfect. That might be like the correct answer. I was thinking along the lines of, again, kind of like you were talking about with Chuck Norris, the like almost demigod level that we put him at in pop culture. Just very simply like a supreme pizza, just kind of playing off of the terms there. Just a nice supreme, got all the different toppings in it pizza. There's a mom and pop place near me that makes a really good one, Verona. So yeah, I would say some kind of playing off of terms there. Supreme actor, martial artist guy, Chuck Norris. But I love the brisket idea, because that would be very, especially with Walker Texas Ranger, just like very American down south style.
So I got one for you. So
Okay.
moving off of Chuck Norris, another American kung fu artist, Steven Seagal. I'm kind of curious of what you would put with Steven Seagal.
Oh man, there's so many different ways you could go with Steven Seagal. So Aikido is the art that he does, and he and the art itself is just blasted for being bullshito. Like, it's just yeah. So part of me is like, you almost need something that's not pizza. Now, if you're an East Coast person and you're listening to my very Chicagoland accent, you're probably thinking, yeah, you should have deep dish, because for some reason, you East Coast people do not acknowledge my form of pizza, even though your preferred form of pizza is a giant slice with one pepperoni in the middle that I have to fold. Why is there directions? Why are there rules? So, but you know what I mean? Like, it would have to be like a something that's not really like pizza. So like a calzone or something. We're gonna have calzones while we're watching.
I love that.
We're gonna have calzones while we're watching Steven
Seagal. Like
Seagal.
Parks and Rec, just making fun of
yes.
What's his name about liking calzone so much?
Yes. Yes, there's one. He's making Ryan's making somebody's highway to the calzone zone.
The low-cal calzone.
A low-cal calzone. All right, so what about you? What is your take on Steven Seagal?
I just put cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. So we had the same idea of like not pizza.
Doesn't even have to be a pizza, just cheeseburger. It just has to have the cheese though. It has to like maybe 10 layers of cheese on it.
There's somebody who grew up watching his movies in the 90s when he was really cool who are going to kick our ass for this joke.
That's all right. I'll take it.
We'll take it. Might be worth it, honestly. We'll keep, I'm going to do another 90s one. Mm-hmm. The 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy.
I was actually just thinking it when you said that.
Okay. That is for me. You did a little bit of research for Black Dynamite. I think it's in the second one. They order Domino's. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to order Domino's, and my favorite combination of toppings from Domino's is sausage, pepperoni, and green peppers. So I probably would just get that and relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, whatever you see in the original TV show, the original animation, is always just either cheese or with cheese and pepperoni.
Okay.
That's how they animated it. So I was like, let's go with the original. But I was thinking like, why don't we break down each character? Like, what are their different
Ooh.
personalities, and break down
Okay.
some of like what they might like. And I was like, okay, so Michelangelo, I'll start with him. He just likes pizza. He loves the junk food. This is the way I see it. I'm sure you and a lot of people are going to disagree with me on their personality breakdowns. My idea of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original animation, I haven't really watched too much of like the movies that came out and stuff like
Okay.
that. I mean, I watched the original movies from the '90s, but I was thinking Michelangelo. He likes the junk food. He probably doesn't really go out of his way for anything fancy. So I was like, why don't we just stick with the pepperoni and the cheese for him?
Okay.
Raphael, he's kind of the hard ass realist, probably particular about what he eats, but more specific
Okay.
flavors and seasoning. So he probably doesn't like this seasoning, but he likes this seasoning. So I don't really have anything particular for him, but I just thought he might be a little bit more kind of like particular.
Okay.
Leonardo, I feel like he would have more refined taste. I feel like he would be more of that like sliced pears, arugula, goat cheese, walnuts, prosciutto over a flatbread pizza drizzled with balsamic, like something like that. Donatello, I feel like he would probably be the most adventurous out of the four. Eating more
Hmm.
unique flavors like calamari, shrimp, and scallops on his pizza. So that was kind
Okay.
of like how I was like maybe just kind of quick throwing on paper sort of thing, just kind of vomiting like what they might they eat.
So the good news is I have a ringer. I have a guy. His name's Joe Day, and he has a whole show devoted to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
Oh, I'll have to check that
I'll
out.
take this part, and this might be a follow-up episode with him at some point, because that would be
Cool.
fun to do. Because
Yeah.
when you're talking pizza and martial arts, like, you have to bring up the Ninja Turtles. It's
Yeah.
part, as you said, it's part of like the whole thing. I agree with you on Michelangelo. That's going to be the most basic, like a sausage or a pepperoni with a lot of cheese, like they show in the cartoon, just like
Mhm.
oozing. For Raphael, I was thinking more of like a meat lovers, just like something like he's going to want all the protein because he's going to want to like bulk up and the whole bit.
True. Yeah.
I like the idea of like something a little bit more bougie for Leonardo. I was
Uh-huh.
thinking like a margarita pizza, like a very, even with like the mozzarella
The
drops instead
basil
of
and
all the,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then Donatello. I like the idea. You said that was like the very adventurous
Yeah.
toppings, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I think I could roll with that one as well.
You can disagree with me. I don't
I'm
care.
trying. I'm trying. He would be the one that I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
honestly. The other three, I'm like, yeah, totally, like a sausage pizza, a meat lovers, and a
Maybe
my
he's
my
like the
3-year-old
mystery guy.
stocking.
Like nobody understands him. Maybe he's just like he has some mystery meat on his pizza, and like they're like, "What are you eating, Donatello?" And he's like, "I don't know."
It's actually fungus. Like it's like a several day old pizza.
Oh, that's good.
Love that. Okay. All right. Yeah, I might have to run that back with Joe at some point. He might know. He might have the insider scoop on that kind of an idea. Whose turn is it? Why don't you
So
throw me? I think it's you.
I know we're kind of getting close to that 30-minute mark. So maybe I'll throw
Mm-hmm.
out that one that I told you about. So I don't know if
Oh
you've
yeah,
heard
yeah.
about this movie before, but I just found out about it just recently. It's called Intimate Confessions of a Chinese Courtesan. And it came out in 1972. And I
Okay.
believe it's the first kung fu martial arts movie in China that came out that represented a same sex couple. And
Okay.
so it's two women that so basically the premise of the movie is that this woman gets um, uh, we'll say she gets attacked by four men, and I don't need to go into details. I'm sure whoever's listening can pick up what I'm throwing out. But essentially, she gets put into like a prostitute house, and the like the lady of the house basically they fall in love with each other, and they create this relationship, and together they make this vow of revenge to take on these four men that basically violated her. And so the whole second half of the movie is taking revenge and killing these four men. And like the second half of the movie is just fantastic. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched like maybe the last like 20 minutes of it, but there's some really good action sequences that happen. And of course it has, you know, the cheesy like ting 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 sound effects whenever they like clink swords together and everything. There is a good amount of sexual content, so like nudity and you know, like soft core porn type of scenes, where they're kind of having that stuff go on. I kind of glossed over whatever I could and skipped over all that kind of stuff personally, but and I've heard from reading up on the premise of it that there is a lot of that stuff going on through the movie. But it is great. It's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet sort of story. I don't want to give away too much of it, but I'm sure I did by saying that. But if you are interested, I mean, from the action scenes that I saw, like the last action scene sequence, I thought it was pretty entertaining. But what I would pair with that one is, since it is kind of like a Romeo and Juliet sort of vibe to it, I would treat this in the same manner where food's like common back in the 15th century, like when Romeo and Juliet was written by Shakespeare. So I was looking at like, okay, what were the type of cheeses and like what were the type of foods that they would use? So I would go with figs, and then I would use a cheese like Montaggio Mezzano, which was very common back then in Italy. So then rosemary roasted pork belly. I would use olive oil as a base on a crispy thin crust, and then I would pair that with like a white Sauvignon or like a Pinot Gris or something like that.
I would be. I'm fascinated by everything you just got done saying. I'll start with the fun thing I'm fascinated by. I am fascinated by the idea of figs with pizza. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, this movie sounds... I've never heard of this. This is actually like a deep cut even for me. It sounds really good. It gives me a little bit of what's that one horror movie? I Spit on Your Grave. It's like a little bit of that. And also this is a video recording for YouTube, so thank you for being mindful of not getting me demonetized. Not that I make any money off of these, but you know, appreciate it. Avoiding certain terminology, which is also triggering for certain people.
It is. You got to be cautious about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that sounds really good. That sounds like a really good film. What was the name of it again? You'll have to text me it too, so I can look for it.
It's called Intimate Confessions of a Chinese Courtesan.
Intimate Confessions. That sounds vaguely familiar as I'm like looking through lists of like super niche different categories, so I may have stumbled upon it before. Tubi probably has it. Tubi has literally everything, it seems like. So for my pizza topping, I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of the Romeo and Juliet idea. I'm going to do like one of those pizzas where it's like two different kinds of toppings on it, like split right down the middle. And I think it would need to be like very distinctly different kinds of toppings. You know, sometimes you get that and it's like sausage on the left, pepperoni on the right. That's too simple. You would need like a meat lovers on one side and a vegetarian pizza on the other side, or you know what's also a forbidden thing, because that's what Romeo and Juliet is. It's forbidden, right? In some corners of the pizza consuming market, Hawaiian pizza is very forbidden. Pineapple on pizza is very forbidden. So I feel like whether it is a Hawaiian pizza or like half of the pizza has pineapple on it, that would have to be part of the equation. What would you put on those, on like a 50-50 pizza like that?
Oh boy, I was actually saving the pineapple one, the Hawaiian pizza, for another movie, which I don't know if we'll get to, but where in my list did I have that? Oh shoot. I had it for a comedy, I think. It was
like Beverly Hills Ninja or something.
Beverly Hills Ninja. I actually had hibachi beef and veggies, because
whoa,
that scene There's that scene where he's actually a hibachi grill chef, and he ends up putting that lady's scarf on the food as well. So.
Oh yeah. Love that.
Oh boy, where did I put that? Let's see. I don't know what the split pizza might be. I think it would have to be something. How about this? So there's a couple toppings that I really wanted to mention during this episode, just because they are like my favorite toppings right now. And so this one is my favorite topping of all time for pizza. So in Korean, it's goguma, which means sweet potato. And it's a specific kind of sweet potato. It's the Korean sweet potato that you can find in stores here. But the way they prepare it, there's actually, I'd say, about like 3 or 4 different ways that you can prepare a goguma pizza or sweet potato pizza. And every single one that I've had in Korea has been just fantastic. And I can't find anywhere here in the States that serve goguma pizza or sweet potato pizza. Sorry, I keep saying the Korean term for it. The other one is I've been really into black garlic recently. So black garlic, it's fermented garlic that turns black, and it has the black feel, and it's more of like a thick paste in the shape of garlic, and so you can like smush it and chop it and all that kind of stuff. But I would like to use that, and it's a little more subtle in the flavor. It's a little more smokier. So I would like to use that with some sort of pizza topping. So if I can maybe pair those two, maybe on either side of each other, maybe pair some like, sausage with the black garlic, or have the sweet potato on its own or something like that.
I'm familiar with black garlic from an episode of Bob's Burgers. So I've never had the Korean sweet potato pizza before. How different is a Korean sweet potato from like a normal sweet potato? Well, I shouldn't say normal. An American sweet potato that you would have at Thanksgiving.
I would say, typically how I create it or make it is you roast it. So in Korea, typically they have these big barrels, and they put all the sweet potatoes in there with coals in the bottom, and they just let it cook, roast in there for several hours. And they usually just have them on the street. Like there's some street vendors. Them. And they just wrap them up in tin foil, and you pay like $1 for it, and then you get the sweet potato, and you basically just peel off the outside and you just eat it. I would say the differences of the texture when you roast it like that. I would say I would say flavor wise, it's actually a little bit sweeter than some of the sweet potatoes you find in the States here. Like a lot of the sweet potato for like Thanksgiving, you make the sweet potato casserole and everything like that. And you have to put like marshmallows and a bunch of brown sugar and stuff like that. I feel like the Korean sweet potato, you don't actually need any additional sweetness to it. It actually has quite a bit of sweetness. So, so this pizza would be a pretty sweet pizza, but savory at the same time. Like there's this weird kind of like, I don't know. It's difficult to explain it until you actually try a pizza with sweet potato on there.
I would be willing to try that. I have no idea where I would find that, but I also like the idea of just walking around the streets of Korea and there's just people selling sweet potatoes.
Oh, it's
like
fantastic.
Like when you're in a place and they got hot dog vendors on the corner. We're gonna go ahead and start wrapping this episode up, but I wanted to throw a variation at you. It's not a movie. We're going to get together. We're going to order pizza, and we're going to play Mortal Kombat for hours. So if we're going to play Mortal Kombat, which is my preferred of the fighting games, what are we ordering and ruining our controllers with?
How about this?
Okay.
So I've got a list of all these toppings. Which another topping I would like to mention is guanciale. So it's the jowl or cheek cut from the face of a pig. I won't put it on this pizza, but I want to mention it. That sounded really good. I found an article talking about how it's the Chuck Norris of toppings. I probably should have brought that up during that one. But for this particular
the brisket one, the brisket is perfect.
But for this particular, so Mortal Kombat, I would actually say the Blockbuster 4. So this is a pizza you can actually find in the world. It's based off of 4 different locations. So it's different quadrants of the pizza. So you got steak fondue, which is is reminiscent of Zurich, Germany. You got white cream shrimp, which is Vancouver. You got horseradish calamari, which is Louisiana.
Whoa.
And you got smoky beef tapas, which is Leon.
Okay. That's fancy. That is a fancy pizza to be munching on. It's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you got your different characters, and you can choose what you like.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I had just came up with this idea like right before we got on. I was like, oh, we should throw like one video game in there. And I was thinking, so you have like the tiered tournament system, right? So like you could do deep dish with that because it's so like thick.
All the layers.
Layers. You got the layers to it. Or, you know, Pizza Hut has had like that pizza box thing where it's like, here's a pizza, and it's like all these additional, like it's a giant box with several different like sections to it. You know, I'm thinking something along those lines. By the way, to keep my 3-year-old happy, he's been consuming M&Ms for the past 10 minutes of this recording. So this is going to be a fun afternoon. I thought you would all like that.
Nachos would actually be a good one too. I think just simple nachos.
Simple nachos. Oh yeah. Something, yeah. Doritos. That gamer food.
Oh yeah.
You an energy drink guy? If you're gonna sit down and like game, are you gonna grab an energy drink?
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Those late night, like all my buddy used to throw like all-nighter parties for his birthday, and there was one, it was like 2 a.m. and we were playing that Mortal Kombat versus DC, and just pass every time one of us lost, we would just pass the controller around. It was so fun. That was a good one.
Those are great nights.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna go ahead and start to bring this one to a close. Any final like quick toppings you want to throw out there into the universe so people know that they exist?
I think I pretty much talked about them. So there's a guanciale, that jowl or cheek cut from the pizza pig, the goguma, which is a sweet potato, and the black garlic. I think those are the 3 that like are my, like, I want the world to know about these sort of things.
These exist. What would you? And the pork cheek is like the Chuck Norris of the Chuck Norris.
Maybe I'll send you this link that some article talking about how it's the Chuck Norris of pizza toppings.
All right. Sure it is. Mark, where can people go to find Grub and Grace?
So you can find it anywhere. I used to post on YouTube, but producing video content just takes a lot of time. So I've stopped since a few weeks ago, or about a month ago. And you can find me on any platform. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere, any other podcast platform, you can find me. Pretty active on Instagram. I do post on Facebook as well. I do have an X account, although I don't post too much on there. Haven't gotten on TikTok yet, but all those places you can find me.
Perfect. We'll link to those in the description of this episode. I had a lot of fun. Did this live up to the hype that you had built up in your head doing this episode?
And more. And if you do a beer episode, please count me in.
Oh, absolutely. That would be fun.
This is like the land of beers over here.
Nice. There's at least one brewery out here, Chicago area, that I've had. They have, I think it was an IPA, whatever. Unicorn versus Ninja is what it's called. It's silly. A lot of their beers are unicorn. They have unicorn references in a lot of their beers. So
I love it. I love all of it.
Yeah. Shout out to Pipeworks. They don't support me. I'm just a fan. If you would like to, if you haven't checked out Kung Fu Pizza Party yet, we're on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram for weekly discussions over there. Weigh in. What pizza do you want to try? What do you think pairs well with a Ong Bak movie marathon? Or what pizza should Leonardo? What pizza would Leonardo eat? Please tell us. We're really curious, especially about that Leonardo one. We're both a little unsure. You can also follow the show on Letterboxd if you would like to get the reviews of the movies a little early. You can follow Kung Fu Pizza Party without the A. Name of the show was one character too long, so I had to drop something. Kung Fu Pizza PRTY, and on YouTube, Studio 219 to see all of my other faith and pop culture video content over there. This has been Kung Fu Pizza Party, where we've probably not delivered high flying action in 30 minutes or less. That is the goal, but we try. And serve up some wisdom one slice at a time.